All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's doing well. You can already tell this is going to be an exciting boxing weekend. We got a lot to get into. It's 11:45 a.m. Thursday, April 30th here in Sydney, Australia. Wherever you are in the world, I say welcome. Thank you for your support as you're tapping in, whether you're catching this live or you're catching this on our Johnny Says Boxing podcast list. Like the video for me. Also, whatever topics, whatever fights we talk about, just comment and let me know if you agree or disagree. We are not an echo chamber around these parts. We are a boxing community that we debate these fights and we do it with education, we do it with research, and we act like gentlemen about it. And you know there's a lot of close fights when the boys in the Discord aren't agreeing on a lot of things. So that being said, if you're new to the channel, I do live streams every single day. We break down all the boxing matches, all the fights that they give us on our books, and as well as the UFC. So for all the MMA heads, I usually do the second live stream on Thursdays, UFC only live stream. I'm going to be going live tomorrow with Nick from Breaking Bad to break down the UFC. I'll stay on a little longer. I usually stay on for over an hour. We're going to get into all boxing on this one. And then at the very end, I'll take some of your questions on the UFC fights. If you're a JSB insider, if you're a Patreon insider, if you're in our Discord, I gave you guys my 2 more tickets today. A double dog parlay, so 2 underdogs pays almost plus 600, and then a UFC triple paying a plus 175. So check the members only section on YouTube and check your Patreon. You should have those tickets. Last night we went 50-50 in a great fight. I mean, I was at the theater because I was my girlfriend's 4th choice of she goes to the movies once a month. It's like this big event with either her sisters or her girlfriends, and she's like, "Do you want to go to the movie with me?" I was like, "What? Am I chopped liver? I'm your last choice." I was like, "There's boxing on." She was like, "Just come with me. You can watch it on your phone when you're in the theater." I was like, "All right, cool. I'll do that." So anyway, I'm in this theater, obviously with my phone watching the Andrew Hunt versus Ben Hussein fight, and god damn, it was a firefight. Obviously, I was short end of the stick. I thought Hunt was going to be able to do enough, but Ben Hussein came in heavy. I didn't know he missed weight. He was looked like a division and a half bigger than Hunt, and he just wore him down. But it was a fun fight. Hunt dropped him early, and I felt like when Hunt dropped him, he went for the kill a bit too early, and it looked like he emptied his gas tank because he wasn't throwing. I thought, and then it looked like Hunt could have got stopped a couple different times. So didn't win there. Shout out to my insider, my no more. By the way, Jackson from Fight Hype. I'm not taking, and he's not anonymous anymore now. I'm putting you on blast, bro. There's like 3 times in the last 6 months where I've been given insider information and I've relayed it to the boys. If you're in the Discord, I showed you the messages. So whether winning receipts or losing receipts, you're gonna get everything from me. I don't hold back anything. We talk about our wins and losses. No more. Because people send me stuff every day, right? From all over the land, all over the world. Johnny, check out this fight. I think this fighter's live. No more. My hit record when it's just my picks, and this is my own fault. I have a high winning percentage, but that winning percentage starts to decrease when I kind of get lazy or I play sort of like, ooh, who doesn't like getting insider information? Anyway, oh, God, a plus 500 underdog for Felizi. He got starched. So that was one. That was no more. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not taking advice from anyone. Stop trying to give me advice. I know what I'm doing out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking any advice from insiders anymore. And those in the Discord know what I'm talking about. My bad on that one. Jesus Christ. That was akin to the kid from Tennessee. Shout out to Tommy Randone. Similar thing happened to me during the first Zuffa card. Tommy calls me, "Bro, man, we got a dog. He's plus 600. I was like, "All right, mate, if this hits, I'm going to give you all the credit. But if it doesn't hit, I'm going to take the blame." That's how it was initially. But months have passed, so I could now put people on blast. I'm not taking any more insider info when it's not my own. That's all I'm going to say. I promise I'm going to stand on that. But Sky Nicholson won on points, so we had Sky in a couple parlays. We had her on the money line, and then we had her on points decision. You just win and move on, And it wasn't a big money output night last night, but this weekend is. And let's get into this. I'm going to pull up the odds real quick. I just released my breakdown analysis and prediction of Jaime Munguia versus Armando Resendiz. That's on the fight prediction playlist. Last night I released David Benavidez versus Zerto Ramirez. That's on the fight prediction playlist. And the night before that, I released Inoue versus Junta Nakatani. So you've gotten 3 Stats Stone live videos from me this week thus far. And I'm going to be doing the 4th. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have all 4 world title fights. And that 4th one I'm going to release is the Takuma Inoue fight versus Ioka. So stay tuned to that. Busy week, the busy month, the best sport in the world, boxing. We don't have to agree on everything. And if you want to debate it, just bring facts. Try to keep the emotions out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's when you start seeing these trolls who get emotional about their picks and start swearing, you kind of understand the level that they're playing at. Our community, we're operating at a higher level. So I'm gonna pull up these odds real quick. I'm gonna say what's up to the boys. Okay. At age. Let me check the score of the Cavs game first, dude. You guys have no idea how hard it is being a Cleveland sports fan. I have like Stockholm syndrome. I haven't lived in Northeast Ohio since 2001, and I'm a diehard Cleveland sports fan. They were up 2-0. 4th quarter of Game 5. And I'm not even looking. They're winning right now, but that lead is sure to dissipate. We got a super chat popping. Rob Lee Skills is in the house. Yeah, baby. Robo's reposted. Oh, that's our guy. I'll pull that up if they don't know what I'm talking about. JSB, we up. Best community in the world, man. We're at 495. We would be at 496 JSB insiders in our Discord, but we kicked out. We had to kick a dude out yesterday. So rumor is in the Discord that Kimmy is also Alex, who is also Manny. So we've had these sort of trolls trickle into our Discord, and they always let themselves known by the way they speak. And so we had to kick a couple fools out yesterday, which is always fun. We're at a position in our Discord where we don't need people hanging around just because you pay a couple bucks a month to be there. The minute we start seeing you trolling, acting like a hater, swearing, we'll just kick you out, dude. We got moderators for this stuff now. John McGanna, what's up, guys? Fresh BX, man. So all the boys in the Discord, somebody in the Discord was like, "Oh, Johnny flip-flopped." I never flip-flopped. I never put my bet in. It's you know what I'm saying? I've been torn all week. And I'm going to be torn going into fight night. It's a 50-50 fight. I'm leaning on the fact that we're looking at trajectories here. I think we've seen the best of Jaime Munguia. I think that his style is starting to show. I think he's degrading a bit. And I think Resendiz at 27 years old, going to be even more confident. They call him Toro for a reason. I love the coach-fighter connection. This won't be the first time I've tailored my bet on the underdog built around the coach-fighter connection. We just did it in January when we hit Figueroa a plus 375 to beat Nick Ball because of the connection he had with his coach. Guess who his coach was? Manny Robles. Guess who Armando Resendiz's coach is? Manny Robles. Do you remember Rafa Espinoza versus Robesi Ramirez 1? Who's Rafa's coach at the time? Manny Robles. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. So I got to play that stat, dude. And if you haven't watched my breakdown, I brought up another stat, is the fact that 3 years ago, Jaime Munguia used to average 70 to 80 punches. He's averaging his last 3 fights. That's been cut down to 55 to 60 punches per round. And Resendiz averages 70 punches per round. Both guys like fighting on the front foot. Both guys don't fight that well off of the back foot. But that being said, I'm leaning on Toro's. Toro handled Caleb Plant pretty good, man, physicality-wise. And Caleb Plant's bigger than Jaime Munguia. I'm just leaning on that. And Resendiz at plus money. I thought when these odds were dropping, Munguia was going to be the dog. That was my intuition. So when we found out that he wasn't the dog, and Resendiz is, and the line really hasn't shifted, that's the play. That's my play. What's word, Johnny? It's Mac. Give me a plus money parlay to go heavy on boss. Plus money parlay. It's Mac. Somebody messaged me in our Discord. I gave them an 87% return. But check out the tickets, bro. Mac, I posted all my tickets, big dog. Chavez money line. Yes, so I've done a 2-dog parlay. I got Jorge Chavez at plus 105. He's won us money over his last few fights. And I got Armando Resendiz at plus 145. You parlay those two together, it's a good return. Am I welcome with open arms? Give me a hug, Trav. Yeah, I had to throw the swindler hat back on, man. I had to. We haven't had to have that hat on in a couple weeks. It's good to have a week of the swindler. We haven't had it in a while. Man, this is fun. This is the best sport in the world, man. I love what we do. I love breaking this stuff down. I asked you if you ever gave any good advice. You said I asked you if he ever gave you any good advice. I asked you if he. What did I miss? I asked you if he ever gave you any good advice, and you sounded offended. I don't know if I'm missing something, big homie. Remind me, my boy Johnny. Yeah, Hunt heard us. Let's end this weekend. Let's start this weekend. Start. We have a lot to look forward to. Hunt hurt us, but I mean, Australian domestic firefight. Even though I lost my bet, that was a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? So and we're not degenerates. I'm not betting every bet to get rich. I'm not chasing. I do have a lot of money on a parlay. Like I got a lot of money riding on this weekend. I'm not even gonna lie. I really like the triple I gave you guys. I like the UFC plus money triple I gave you guys. I'm confident in that. I'm confident in our. I gave you a plus 480 parlay, a long parlay, which it has a lot of legs, but I like it, man. And we'll go over all that stuff. I am going to give you a 3. I gave shout out to in the Discord. No, actually in my. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you can get free. I always give away free stuff on the Instagram. Who messaged me this? Or no, it was in our Discord. Or was that Manny? Manny Munguia's dog water. I love that saying. Lad. No, that's not Lad. Tricky Don. Okay, Tricky Don asked me, he was like, hey, Johnny. So maybe this could go if Wild Deal, if you're still on. Tricky Don, who's a JSB insider, messaged me last night. He goes, Johnny, could you give me a 2 to 3 teamer if you got one? 75% return and up. I'm putting 5,000 on it. So I gave him a 3-leg. This 3-leg that it pays $1.83. It pays 83% return. So I get a lot of messages like this. Guys who have big bankrolls. So 1,000 on this gets you your money back plus $830. And I've gone heavy on this. I haven't posted it yet, but I'll share it. Inoue money line, Benny money line, Duarte money line. 83%, guys. We'll do this together. So I do have action on this. This is heavy action for me. There's a lot of fights I like. So there you go. This pays 83% return. Hopefully, I answered some of the big hitter questions in here of the boys who do like betting heavy. Take this. I have action on this. Benavidez money line, Duarte money line, Inoue money line. 1,000 gets you 830 back. I rarely ever say I'm comfortable in any of my picks because it's gambling. It's fucking gambling. We are gamblers. So I'm never, but I'm excited. I'm confident in those. You got to build up a good track record for me to listen to you. What are we talking about, Fresh? Big Fresh in the house. Johnny, I like anyway. Benny, what's up, Yayo? Appreciate the super chat. However you can help the cause, the super chat, man. You know I got you. I appreciate you. Guys, like this video. We're only 15 minutes in. We got about 70 in here. Savages. 70 of the boys in here. Out here eating. Benny and Benny most punches landed. Han, Foster, Vargas, and Boots. What's your thoughts? Yeah. Look, I'm a big fan. I'm a money line guy on these. I don't really do punch props because my book doesn't offer them. So I have action on Inoue. Love Benavidez. Love Stephanie Hahn. We already seen that story. Hahn was beating the brakes off of Holly Holm the first time. I'm shocked they even did a rematch. Shock Foster, I think, is going to show levels against Savage. We talked about that, and we'll get into that more closer to fight week. I'm going to be breaking down that fight. Obviously, you'll see my stats done live video. Emiliano Vargas. Boots, look, and this is just as honest as I could be with you with Boots and Xander, is I'm still torn on that, man. I don't think that this is a gimme for Boots. And we'll get into that come fight week. So, and you know, I'm a Jaron Ennis fan. Watched his whole career. I could say that. I could say this. Look, I'm not a fan of fighters, and you guys know that the longer you're on my channel. I'm not a fan of any fighters, so I don't have to worry about myself fanboying anybody. I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a fanboy of boxing, but not of any fighters. I'm a grown ass man. I just turned 44. If you're at the stage of the game I'm at, when you're a 44-year-old grown ass man, you're not a fan of fighters. You know what I'm saying? I like watching fighters fight. What I mean by that is I never have to worry about myself being persuaded by an emotional element of betting. So Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas both have massive followings with guys who are going to bet on each guy because they love them. No matter who said fighter is going to fight, they will forever ride and die with their fighter, which is great, which makes our sport great. But that's not what I'm doing, and I see a path to victory for Xander. I do. Obviously, there's a path to victory for Boots. Xander's plus money, man. Dude, Xander's a big boy. He does a lot of things really well. I think, like, when you look at the things that separate Jaron Ennis at 147, I think Xander Zayas' skills, both offensively and defensively, will be able to navigate those waters and pull Jaron into a mid to late round fight in which he's going to have to answer questions he hasn't had to answer yet. I don't count Usa Lima as a fight at 154. He fought, 90 seconds of one fight at 154 against a guy nobody heard of? Jaron Ennis is a 147 who was boiling down to get to 147 for a long time. And he's going to be in there with his first opponent who's going to be bigger than him. It's going to be interesting to see if Xander is going to push, bully Jaron and make Jaron fight off the back foot. It's going to be interesting if Jaron is going to will box with Xander. There's a lot of questions to be answered. For me to just sit here when we have all these fights in front of us, there's 4 world title fights this weekend. It's hard for me to compartmentalize and give all of my energy to Jaron and Xander yet because we're a week-to-week show. But that's my initial take, and I would be wild to think that I would go heavy on Jaron right now, just all things considered. So, but I don't have an official pick yet. We'll get there closer. Trav, looks like a good slip on my tail. What are the odds? 83% return. Barium, guys, if you're not in our Discord, Barium Boxing, great analysis guy. We have some really sharp savages in our group. He's one of them. I can't believe the books think Jorge versus Tito Zataza. Hey, I just got Jorge at plus money. I'm like, dude, when you watch the tape, Tito's undefeated, but Jorge Chavez, dude, he's what is he, only 26, maybe 25, adding levels to his game. He's a smooth operator. He's not a one-punch guy. Doesn't really have a lot of power, but the kid could box, dude. The kid has a good boxing IQ, and we got him at plus money, so keep that on the hush. Add Benavidez, make it a 2-leg, put that money in your pocket and run fast. Ooh, I like it. All right, let's talk about it. We might as well share the wealth. So, guys, I do have a double dog parlay, but I think I'm going to do separate tickets with each dog individually as well. I'm thinking about it. I might not, but he's still a dog. This is the fight we're talking about. Jorge Chavez versus Jose Tito Sanchez. Right now, Chavez is a plus 107. When you tape it, I mean, they have it as a coin toss. I think Chavez should be the favorite here, but every now and then we get, and I love Chavez on points. So one of my prop of the week, Chavez on points plus 180. I love that prop right there. It looks really good to me right now. You go Chavez on points. I already have a Benavidez decision point prop. I have a Sky Nicholson decision point prop. There's some action this week, boys. We got some real action. So that's a fight to look into if it's not on your radar. The JSP insiders will know about Jorge Chavez. We featured both of his last 2 fights against Gucci Flores. one draw in which I think we all could agree that he probably won that fight. And then the second fight, he just separated himself and really showed this evolution in his game. So he's a decent, fun little prospect. Dr. Hook Carlos, message me in the Discord. Figgy is a go. He is, man. Dude, Figgy is getting the Rafa fight. Right? Am I tripping? Figgy's getting the Rafa fight. Like that. I'm a fan of both guys. Obviously, you guys know that. We've been making money off of Rafa Espinoza since Robesi 2. I didn't see Robesi Ramirez 1 coming. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm someone I'm not and tell you that I picked Robesi Ramirez to lose the first Rafa Espinoza fight because I didn't. And then I did pick him to win the second fight. And when he won that second one, we've been eating off of Rafa ever since. That knockout against that tough Texas kid, David, a couple fights ago, he knocked him out, I think, in the fourth. His name will come to me. But dude, you know how I feel about Brandon. That's another fight where people would think that Rafa's gonna blow Brandon out the water. Y'all need to chill. Dude, y'all need to chill, boy. There's something that, look, Brandon got real power. And his timing. I just watch my breakdown of the Nick Ball fight. You'll see everything I said about the attributes why I like Brandon Figueroa to beat Nick Ball and probably stop him, which happened. Those physical attributes are still there. Rafa is a different animal because he's long and tall, and Rafa might be too much for him. He might be too much for him, but I don't want to think too far ahead. I love that fight though. I can't, I wish we could have a 3 like Shushu Carrington, Rafa Espinoza, Brandon Figueroa. I mean, you got Angela Leo, Risa Lean coming up. People aren't talking about that fight. Guys, if you're new to the channel, you got to understand, we are boxing nerds out here. We don't just watch pay-per-view heavyweights. We watch all the fights. And that fight, dude, you got Risa Lean at plus 240 right now against Angela Leo. I think Angela Leo is a kid who's still developing. I was there at the Risa Lean Sam Goodman fight. Risa Lean could box, dude. Risa Lean could box, man. He got skills. He's like a plus 280, I think, right now. I think Risa Lean is real live right now. But we got to focus on this weekend. Yummy got Rez. Why do you got Rez? Let me hear about it. Yeah, yo, for this Saturday, I really like Inoue money line. Inoue most punches landed. Same exact thing for Benny. Get it, brother. Post those tickets in the Discord. We want to see him. Share the love, boys. Johnny, what do you think about this parlay? Naya, Takume, Benny. Let's go. Mervin, I got action on 2 separate tickets with those exact fights. We're seeing eye to eye. I think Benavidez. I'm not getting sexy with the. I got Benny on the money line on one ticket, and I got Benny on points on the other. It's hard for me to see Benny moving up another weight division, fighting a guy in Zurdo Ramirez, who will be 35 in June. Zurdo's never been to the canvas, never been dropped, never been stopped. Only loss was in 2022 to Dimitri Bivol. Bivol kind of wobbled him a bit, but not, he didn't drop him, never really been in too much danger. And Benny's not a one-punch knockout guy. He's a volume guy. And I actually think that Zurdo has better feet than Benavidez. And I think that even if Benavidez gets Zurdo in trouble, I think Zurdo will be able to use he has slick feet. He doesn't have fast feet, but he has slick technical feet. Slicker than Benavidez. Definitely not Anthony Yard. He's not just going to stand there on the ropes like Anthony Yard and just take abuse. So I do like the distance. I like the over. I like the points. I like the money line, David Benavidez. Youngin, have you ever been to Fairfield? New South Wales. I think I've been to Fairfield for some fights. Is that where you are? Tanaka versus Sasaki. Guys, if you guys are in Sydney, one of my clients is fighting at the Sydney Brawl. It's at the Paddington RSL. Sydney Fight League. If you guys are in Sydney, you're not doing nothing tomorrow, I'm going to those fights, amateur fights. Excited about it. Shout out to my client and my boy Kane McInerney, Sugar Kane. He's trying to qualify for the Olympics. I'm going to add Sasaki to your double dog. Let's get a triple dog parlay, baby. Let's go, Mosby. Let's go. Oh, Fresh BX. Never again, brother. Oh, it all making sense. You know why? Because here's my weakness. I'm a loyalist. I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic. I partied with him a couple times. We were at the casino a couple times, so I know, we were shooting the shit, messing around, having a good time. This was and I've known him for a few years, so it's not like he's just a random online. I know him, but and I know he means well, but he is young. He's only in his early 20s, so he's very emotional with his picks. And I kind of like you get a guy who's, oh bro, he's a plus 600. Everybody wants to be sharp. And in my head, I was like, all right, I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him. And then that's 0 for 2. He's not getting a third time. And Fresh BX, you can count on that. I'm not gonna pull this shit again. Ever. You guys will I will never share another one of his picks. Even though I take credit for the loss, I'm done with it. Shogo Tanaka. Oh, what's up, History Vault? It's been a while. Shogo Tanaka versus Tomoka. Let's pull him up. Shogo Tanaka. Do you think that, guys, does anybody think that Tomoka is live here? Is Tomoka live here? Let me know. Because I haven't broken it down yet. But I'm interested in this. This Japanese card is very interesting. What's your read on it, History Vault? Hopefully one of you guys in the Discord can break that down. If Barry Unboxing, I don't want to put too much work on his plate either. I know how much work and energy it takes into breaking these fights down. But has anybody, maybe Barium or History Vault, anybody in the Discord, has anyone broken down Tomoka Tanaka? Has 3D done it? Anybody online? I'm interested. I just haven't got to the tape, and the fight that's right in front. I just uploaded the Munguia fight, and that took a lot out of me, mate. Because I was torn, and I'm currently in front of me at my desk is Tomoka Inoue, his fight versus Ioka. So I don't know, and tomorrow's already Friday, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this, but a lot of guys have been asking me about it. I'm interested in your takes. What's up, Chris? Hey, Johnny. Good morning. Doesn't matter how you start. How you feel? Let's go. Let's get it. Sasami is a dog. What's up, high interest? You're my dude. Yeah, yo, is it all right if I send you a DM on Discord myself? Of course. Yeah, 100%. That's what a lot of the boys do. And I'll be as honest as I am with everybody. They don't want us to sleep on Saturday from the card in Japan to the Kona Walker card. I'm excited about that Kona Walker Sam Edgington fight. Did you guys hear it's a catchweight? So it's a catchweight. I think the fight was initially contracted at 147, which is insane. I don't even remember. When's the last time Sam Edgington made 47? To now, I think that Sam's team asked for a catchweight, I think 152. Look into that. I just heard about it through a tweet. But that's another. I was excited to see Andrew Hunt versus Ben Hussein. It lived up to it. We lost a split decision, but that's boxing. I'm excited to see Kona Walker for Sam Edgington. This version of Kona, though, that engine, he kind of just, and Sam is wilted lately, but Sam is a big boy. There's some good fights on that card. Johnny, do you think Munguia is on PEDs? He's on, bro. It has to be a question that it has to be asked when you look at Eddie Reynoso's camp, guys. It's not like when does it become coincidence? Let me show you something real quick. Like, when does it go from coincidence, rumors, to full-on conspiracy facts, right? Here's what I'm talking about. Under fire, fighters in Eddie Reynoso's stable who tested positive for PEDs. Canelo, 2018. Ryan Garcia, 2024. Oscar Valdez, right? Yeah, so you got Canelo Alvarez, clenbuterol. Clenbuterol is bronchodilator. I only know about this because I used to live with a guy. I've said the story on the podcast before. When I was 21, I was playing short season minor league baseball in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, just from Memorial Day to Labor Day. They call it short season, getting paid nothing. And working at a bar at night. Some of the boys on the baseball team were stripping. It was 2002 to 2003, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My roommate, Nick Thompson, rest in peace, he was a world's strongest man sort of guy. That's what he was training for. He was a West Virginia kid, mountainous of a man. He was already naturally just gigantic. He was like 6'5", 290 pounds, and he would make steroids in our kitchen. He signed up to a cattle website. So he signed up to like this cattle registration in South Carolina, like he owned cattle or something. And then that allowed him to order these pellets online. And these pellets, they looked like they were like this big and they were like that thick. And then he would bake the pellets. He would bake them. And then as he would bake them, he would pour this oil on them. And then the oil and the pellet would create its own little consistency. And then he would take it out on the baking tray, and then he would filter whatever residue from the pellet and the oil through coffee filters into these syringes, and he would shoot it. Looking insane, dude. And it was called Trimbalin. So he would make Tren, which is like the dirtiest, and it was a cutter. And I learned a lot about steroids through him. I never did steroids, never did gear. Always took pride in being a natural athlete, natural coach. But he would do, and it would just make everything just look so just, yoked. He would also take clenbuterol during the cutting phase. Clenbuterol was initially invented as a bronchodilator for asthmatics. And so what they found out, if you take it in big dosages, clenbuterol also becomes a cutter, burns fat and increases blood flow and increases circulation, which then helps speed up recovery, which also creates that sort of vascularity look. And that's what clenbuterol is. Ostarine now is, so Canelo tested for clenbuterol. Garcia tested for Ostarine. Oscar Valdez, phentermine. Oh, the big fella. Don't forget about him. Julio Cesar Martinez in 2019, clenbuterol again. Louis Neary in 2017, Zilpaterol, the big dog. And I mean, that's just 6 guys. So your question, I do want to clear up some misinformation. Jaime Munguia did not test positive for PEDs. He failed an initial PED test, but was later exonerated. Jaime Munguia was cleared of wrongdoing after a May 25th, 2025 failed drug test, which was determined to be a false positive caused by contaminated supplements, not intentional doping. That's the story. So I'm seeing in a lot of these messaging groups and online, people calling him a doper. I mean, guilt by association, maybe. He got cleared and exonerated. Make what you will of it. It is what it is. There you go. The GMS, Xander going tune boots up. I can see it, man. It's hard to say Boots with his resume lacking a bit, but his dad is a great coach. Bozy? I've heard people argue that they don't like Bozy as a coach, but I'm not one of them. I've heard people. I took Jarrell Big Baby Miller this past weekend. When a lot of you boys don't act like you didn't, stats don't lie, and we keep receipts out here. I know who did. A lot of you boys picked the Cuban. I didn't. A lot of you boys missed out. We hit a nice little parlay, Jarrell Miller on points. A big part of my reasoning was that, earlier on in his career, he had done some camps with Bozy, and it was a good fit. Not all fighters are perfect fits for all great coaches, right? And recently, Bozy was taking some sort of negative slander, negative press because his fighters were losing, other than his son. A lot of his fighters have been losing. And so one of the reasons I took Jarrell was because he went back to Philly to train with Bozy. So, yeah, some people say he's I think he's a good coach. I'm in that camp. But I mean, when your son is as talented and as gifted as Jaron Ennis, you know what I'm saying? We got one, baby. Cleveland won. Thank God, dude. Freaking hell. Well, it ain't over yet, but we up 3-2. Thank God. They were up 2-0, and they had to dig deep, holding Toronto to 17 points in the fourth. Harden finished with 23 and 9 and 5, 6 turnovers. Cleveland shot 50% from the three. That's how many times, and they only turned the ball over 15 times. Dude, in game 3, Cleveland turned the ball over like 22 times in the first half. It was insane. Yeah, we got McGanna, check the post. I gave you a 3-leg UFC plus money, which I like. No sleep, get money, get money. Youngin in the house. Espinoza is going to destroy him. I mean, y'all said that. Y'all said Nick Ball was going to destroy Brandon. You guys said that. That's what you said. Rough Riders. The snake, the cat, the rat, the dog. How you gonna see it if you living in the fall? The snake, the rat, the cat, the dog. How you gonna see if you live in the fall? Yo, you look. I seen you when nobody knew who pulled the trigger. Yeah, you know, it's always over dough. You sure? I could have swore it was over a hole. Nah, that ain't my style. You stay frontin', but you still my man, so I ain't gonna say nothing. Got some weed, go ahead, smoke it. Go ahead, drink it. Reese Salim for sure wins. I like that fight, man. Look into it. I think Alimod's dropping one of the best fights on the schedule. Nice. Yeah. Are they dropping? Let's pull it up. See, we gotta start. We gotta stop talking about these fights so far in advance. You know what I'm saying? Okay, he's at plus 199. He's at plus 190 right now. This goes down next week, guys. Reese Salim on points, plus 340. Love that prop. Love that prop. You know, you could do plus 190 as a dog. You could do plus 340 on points, method of victory. We got a lot, guys. The boxing gods are blessing us right now. I didn't even know Zerto was. That's why you're here, man. I got all these little tiny stats. You know I'm a nerd about this. I'm reading, I'm remembering, and then I'm recycling. We got to share the wealth. We got to spread the news. Look, we don't have to agree on everything, but we still up. What's up, Gasville? Got to think David want to have less time there. Yeah, but I mean, you know, right? We don't get paid. They don't get paid for how many rounds they fight, but at the same time, dude, Zerto is just durable, man. Zerto could take a shot. Young, I say, dude, hit me. Go to the fights tomorrow then. The Pato RSL. I'm gonna be there. Shout out to my boy Kane, Sugar Kane. What do you think of Benny to be knocked down and win? You could see Benny on the ground. Ooh, he does have clumsy feet, don't he? I mean, we saw him. We've seen him on the ground before, guys. And Mosby, you hear me talk about this all the time. In boxing, when we're thinking about props or method of victory or outcomes, one of the measuring points should always be you have to ask yourself, have we seen this before? Can this happen? We've seen Benavidez down before and win. Same thing with Inoue. I know a lot of people like that Inoue prop for him to get knocked down and win. He's done it twice before. I was fortunate enough to hit on the Ramon Cardenas one, and but that fight happened after Luis Nery. That's why I played the Cardenas one, because this exact methodology. I was like, okay, we just saw him get dropped and win. I'm gonna do the same thing. No, unfortunately, I've done that prop every fight since, and he hasn't been dropped. So it's just kind of the way of the world, right? We got to play trends. I don't think so. Bookie's giving us a good price at Shogo. Okay. Okay. As a parlay piece, 27% return. So you don't think Tomoka's? I have to get into it. Shannon Ryan, she can get. I think Shannon Ryan's good, man. I don't think she could kill. Alphonse and myself, we still got PTSD from Shadesha. So it's a valid question, big dog. Shadesha Green, boy, it's gonna be a while for us to get over that one. Auntie Lonnie, the parlay killer. I think she'll be fine though. Shannon Ryan should handle her. 3-2 Cavs. We needed it, man. The last time I looked, Voorhees, before I went live, Cleveland was down, I think, 103-95. They were down by 8 going in, heading at the end of the third. And I was like, this is why I'm not a Cleveland. Being a Cleveland sports fan is literally like having Stockholm syndrome. And if you're unaware of that, like Stockholm syndrome is this phenomenon that occurs when a person gets kidnapped by the captor, and after long periods of time, the captive doesn't even have to have the person kidnapped handcuffed. They don't even have to have them tied up. After a certain amount of time goes on, psychologically, you become attached to your kidnapper. This is like being a Cleveland sports fan, dude. We got Stockholm syndrome. Sup, Johnny? So psyched for this weekend. I've already worn Mrs. Saturday. Never be glued. See, a great woman. She's a great woman. And in the Discord, one of the boys, they didn't. They were like clowning me that I was at the theater with my girl. I was like, "What are you talking about? I love my girl. Like, I'll go to the theater with her whenever she asks. But she better know damn well if I'm at the theater and we're watching one of her movies and there's boxing on, she knows I'm watching the fights, and she's cool with it." Dude, a good, healthy relationship should be a team. It should not be one-sided. I've been, dude. I'm 44. I've been in a lot of relationships, and I'm grateful to say that when I look back at all of my, and this isn't always the case. I know a lot of you guys have been in some, the world's tough out there. People have been in some toxic ass relationships, and shit ends bad. I look back at all the girls I've ever dated, and I still care for them in a specific way. You spend so much time with a human, even if things don't work out. The way I look at that is, how can I have any sort of like resentment towards them? That being said, on the other side of that, when you're in a healthy relationship should be functioning as a healthy team. So it shouldn't be, I shouldn't have to tell my girl to do like, no, I'm doing. It's like, nah, man, we're gonna do this together. But I'm an easygoing type of cat. You know what I mean? I'm a simple man. I don't need a lot. Y'all don't think look, this is gonna be one of those fights for me that I'm if I've seen I've seen recently fight live. He boxed really well against Sam Goodman. If you had to ask me what style am I a bigger fan of, I'm a bigger Angelo Leo fan. I watched his rise. I watched the come up on Pro Box. I loved him going out to Japan and showing up and showing out. So I've been with Angelo Leo on his world title run. But I'm not a fan of fighters. We're out here to make money. I think Reece Salim outboxes Leo, and I don't think Leo has good power. So I think Reece Salim could outbox him and win a points decision. I'm a bigger fan of Angelo, though. He was to the stoppage. We don't bet Brandon no more. Leave him out. I bet Brandon. You crazy. Check the receipts, big homie. I bet Brandon. Brandon was on my no bet list. You know what? I do have to clear. Brandon, all the Figueroas were. But look who came back and redeemed themselves. Raise your hand if you took Brandon Figueroa plus 375 to beat Nick Ball. A lot of y'all didn't. Raise your hand if you picked Omar Figueroa at plus 600 in his last fight to win. I know a lot of y'all didn't. Go check the receipts. I did on both. Chilltown said he thinks Junto not. Nah. Chilltown be wrong. Tell my boy TJ he wrong, boy. He wrong. Chilltown, boy. Look, nobody's right all the time, but TJ's my guy. TJ also said, this is the easiest way to push back on. TJ also said that Nick Flaz's style was bad for Tiger. And then we hit that plus 1,000 by knockout, boy. So yeah, I think that Nakatani, I talked about it yesterday. I'm going to talk about it all week. I talked about it in my breakdown. I think that whenever there's adversity in a fight throughout a fighter's career, you learn the most about a fighter through that adversity, how they deal with it, their body language, how they adapt. Even though he got the win against Logan, which was a tough fight, I didn't like his body language in that fight. He was searching and seeking. He was kind of like questioning. He's anyways not going to question anything. And if he's going to question things against Inoue anyway, he's going to get stopped. And this whole thing that Inoue is degrading, I mean, is he? I don't know. He looks super explosive to me. Super fast to me. His power looks good to me. It's hard to knock out a guy when they run the entire time. MJ. So and Picasso's ass is durable and tough. We'll see. I don't think Nakatani has the speed. I don't think Nakatani has the versatility, and I don't think Nakatani has the levels to beat Inoue. I think Inoue is gonna. I think this. I'm predicting this looks like Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. in terms of the marketing of the fight, the mass appeal geographically. You know what Bud and EJ meant to America. This probably means more to Japan. Guys coming out, meeting at a certain weight class. We watched Bud come all the way up from 35, finally got the fight at 47 with EJ. We've watched Junto come up, from 108, 112, 115. He only had one fight at 18, and this is he only had one fight at 22. This is his second fight at 22. And people are talking about Inoue going to 26. They're finally meeting. What's Inoue, 33? Junto's, 27, 28? I think that we're going to see levels. Is Kobe Abridi a threat? I think he'll be a threat early. I think it'll be nip and tuck early, but I like Earnabout a lot as a fighter. The gift and the curse were never satisfied, so I'm always saying to look at the schedule ahead. Esteban is supposed to win. Dude, Esteban's a dog. Is that Jack Rafferty? Is that the Jack Rafferty fight? That's not a bad play. Next week's Raw. Oh, shit. I won 5K with it. Dude, that's the best hit of all time. Dude, winning 5. Dude, that what I call that is a $50 magic trick. You know what I'm saying? That's a $50 magic trick. Take it out. If that's your biggest win, bro, and you just hit 5K, take it out, put it in the bank. If it can pay, dude, if you're just learning how to bet, if you're an entertainment guy, if you're not doing this full time, the percentage of men who gamble full time is very small. And they're super stressed out. This is a stressful life to play if that's what you want to do. But some guys want to do it, right? There's no foolproof system. You got to put the work in. There's no easy route. You got to save your money. You have to have boundaries. You have to have systems. So if you're building yourself up that way and you're building a bankroll, if you're up and it could pay a bill, take it out. Because you have to have what that'll do over time is create this psychology around what you're doing is worthwhile. It's tangible. If you just won X amount of money on you put $50 to win $200 and it's mid-month and your cell phone bill is $100 and you have another bill you got to pay, which is $100, dude, and you're just learning how to bet, take that out and pay some bills with your winnings and see what that feels like. And over time, as you start doing that, you'll create systems around winning and having strategy. Like where I'm at in the game, I have when my sports bet account gets to X amount, then I take it out. I'll build, and when it gets there, then I'll take it out. So those are my own systems. But when I first started, my system was if it could pay a bill, I'm taking it out. And then as I started winning, saving, it turned into something different. Because the last thing you ever want to do is win 5,000 on $50 and then play a 2-to-1 and you bet 5,000 to win 10,000 and you lose. And you have nothing to show for the $50. This is how people become degenerates. Yeah, the engine, that output, it's hard to bet against. What's your thoughts on Boots by decision at plus 260, considering it's up at super welterweight? I don't even know if I'm taking Boots to win. I don't know yet. I'm sorry, I don't know yet. I know people get emotional about the Jaron Ennis, Xander Zayas fight. People are going to get so emotional, dude. People are getting emotional about the all-Mexican war between Munguia and Resendiz. You remember how emotional people got with Errol Spence Jr. and Bud? Remember how emotional people got with Bud versus Canelo? Ennis versus Xander, people are going to get emotional. It's so crazy to me. People get real emotional. You guys got to remove your emotions. But right now, I'm not even sure I'm taking Ennis. I'm 55-45 Ennis right now. I'm salty about the last 3. Oh, bro. Yeah, same. I can't do the Aussie boxing, mate. The longer you stick around, the more you realize these Aussie cards are just to pay attention to. Domestic Aussie cards, shit could go south any. Oh, did you just say Desley Robinson? Oh, fuck. Who was the girl that just got knocked? Yeah. What's up, Johnny? Happy belated. What's your most confident fight? Appreciate you, man. Most confident fights this weekend. David Benavidez money line. Inoue money line. Oscar Duarte money line. That pays 87% return. There's a couple dogs I really like. I like Jorge Chavez as an underdog. I like Jin Sasaki as an underdog. I like Armando Resendiz as an underdog. I mean, Sky Nicholson only paid $1.30. That already came through on points. Sky on points was crazy. You take Sky on points and David Benavidez on points, that's at plus money. Some people were loving the Oscar Duarte knockout against Fierro. I don't have action on that, but I can see that. I think Oscar, look, when we're looking at guys in matchups, and I think that the Munguia versus Resendiz matchup is similar to what I'm talking about. And then Oscar Duarte and Fierro. Duarte's a guy, every time we see him, he's adding things to his game. He's adding a little bit to his game, which shows that's a true testament to a guy who lives in the gym. RGBA, Robert Garcia. Am I tripping? That's Duarte's camp, right? I like Duarte. I like where Duarte's trending in his career. I like how he's been adding levels. I always tell you guys, I like a guy who gets knocked out and then can rebuild. As a bettor, as a gambler, guys, that's where we win our money. We win our money when we can see guys who've been faded already, who've lost a bit, and then they've chosen not to have that define their career. This is part of being a sharp, seeing where a guy is either faded or not faded, or where the books think they're faded. You know what I mean? And Duarte, for a while, when he was coming off that knockout loss, there were a couple fights where they were like 50-50, and we were winning money on him. Even though I did take Kenny Sims to beat him, and I was shocked that Duarte was winning rounds. It's just that Sims was just way too comfortable hanging on the ropes, way too comfortable waiting for the counter. And it's another sign of how good. One of my favorite boxers is a guy, Arnold Barbosa Jr. To see that, granted, it was a different weight class. I know Kenny said he had some health issues. We know that Kenny lives with sickle cell anemia, and we know that fight was at 147. But Arnold Barbosa Jr. put on a masterclass versus Sims, and Duarte won a close fight against Sims. Arnold Barbosa Jr., in terms of being just a skilled boxer, I'm going to take him against most guys. And I always do. I always win money off of him. You know, the only time I lost off of him was when he lost to Teo. And when we did the tape, we got Barbosa Jr. at plus money on the money line against Sims and hit a plus 330 for him on points against Sims. But through that film study, we rewatched the Teofimo Lopez fight. Bro, that fight wasn't as far as people think it. That fight was not as wide as people think it was. It was just the flashier moments where Teofimo Lopez. If anything, I highlighted this part in my breakdown. Barbosa Jr. landed the bigger shots. Barbosa Jr. had Teo frozen on a straight right hand that Teo walked right into, I think in the fourth, maybe the sixth. My point is, with Oscar Duarte, seeing how he recovered from that Ryan Garcia knockout loss, his love of the game, watching his physicality change, I could see him stopping Fierro. I didn't like Nakatani's body language in the last fight either. He didn't bite down after things got... Yeah. S1 is terrible. I love boxing adjectives. You know what I mean? Like, one of my favorite words that I've learned through you guys in the Discord is cheeks. Or my buns. You guys are, dude, the younger generation, you boys, man, you guys are clever. Every generation that comes, I think, before is a little bit more clever because you guys learn from the old heads in front of you. But using the term buns to describe a boxer, to me, just activates that childlike humor in me. Like, that shit is so hilarious in the Discord last night when I forget who was fighting and people were just typing, man, that dude is buns. That's so funny to me. Depth, JSB Insider, let's get it. What are your thoughts on Whitmore beating Sanchez on the Pro Box card? I don't have an opinion on it yet, man. I saw the odds just dropped. I woke up this morning to this Whitmore fight. I'm gonna my boy Francois Scarborough's fighting though. You know I'm high on Francois Scarborough. That dude always comes ready to throw. Not a perfect fighter by no means, but he's fun to watch. If you guys have never seen Francois Scarborough fight, he's fun to watch. He's marketable. They're putting some backing behind him. Shout out to Pro Box. David Whitmore versus Sanchez. Samuel Carmona versus Ramirez. Dude, and it's a Pro Box card. The dogs will probably be barking tomorrow. Anybody have any action on the Pro Box dogs? Is Rodrigo Ramirez live against Carmona? Is Sanchez live against Whitmore? I'd like to know. You got to think one of those dogs are going to be barking. We see it. Pro Box is one of these cards. We always talk about trends. Eye of the Tiger cards, pick the A side. Top rank cards, pick the A side. Zuffa cards, dogs are going to be barking. Pro Box cards, dogs are going to be barking. So no limit cards down here in Australia, pick the A side. So these are those patterns that we talk about that we see time and time again that allow us to win money consistently. There's going to be some dogs in the Pro Box card, I think so. Do I know which ones I'm going to play? I don't know yet. I haven't got time to do it yet. When do those fights start? Saturday, 4 a.m. Saturday. No, so Carmona isn't a Pro Box card. Where's that Carmona fight then? Pro Box is David Whitmore, right? Samuel Carmona. So Carmona's 13-1. He's a Spanish kid. Fighting a guy who's 21-2. It's a Spanish card, Mallorca. Those Spanish cards are always interesting. Is Rodrigo, if he's a Mexican, I think he might be live. No, he's a Venezuelan, 5'4". I'm probably not going to bet that fight, low key. But I will look into the Pro Box card. I did a deep dive on Inoue, and I'm leaning distance. This would be nice. This would be one of my proudest picks. He could very well sell him. It wouldn't shock me. Dude, this is the best game in the world, man. Doing what we do, breaking down fights, and then having a community to shoot the shit with about it. Like I feel like I'm in a pool hall right now. You know, I just need we're just shooting the shit. I think Resendiz is too slow for Munguia. He's going to get caught. You think, wow, Resendiz must be really slow if you think Munguia is faster than him. I think Resendiz in moments is way more explosive than Munguia. Resendiz has this sort of element to his offensive arsenal that he's added. If you ever watch so I grew up watching, doing mixed martial arts, so point fighting, karate. When you watch karate point striking, so like the sport, if you guys watch UFC, Michael Venom Page is a point fighter. Lyoto Machida was a point fighter. Karate to where they start and stop, where they fight in bursts and then they reset. They fight in bursts and then they reset. Resendiz has added that little element to his game where he'll kind of jump in with these little explosive combinations and then either grab or exit out. They look fast to me. They look sharp to me. Resendiz looks like the sharper puncher to me. Munguia's feet are slow and sluggish and in cement. So I don't know what you're seeing about that. I believe his only path to victory overwhelming Jamie. Jaime. You think Jaime Munguia is sharper and faster than Resendiz? Maybe I missed something in the study. I don't see that. Johnny, yeah, so that'll be my upload tomorrow. I'm about 80% finished with that take. I do like Inoue here, but I was half leaning with Ioka. I think I was just really impressed with Takuma against Nasukawa, Tenshin. And just watching Tenshin's most recent performance, you got to see a kid who took those rounds against Inoue, and rather than letting that sort of define him, he looked like he took all that experience and just was like level, and just storm walked El Gallo. And so that aged really well. Ioka, on the downside. So I think this is one of those trajectory fights. It's going to be close though. Riddick Bowe is my favorite heavyweight. It's a good question. Riddick Bowe had some moments, didn't he? My favorite heavyweight. Probably because I interviewed him in person. He's in my first book, Evander Holyfield. So I got to interview Evander for the first book that I wrote. He's a chapter. He's chapter 8 in my book called Ungoogleable, and his chapter is called The Good Son. So back to me being a loyalist and watching Evander's wars, the fights he was in, even though, he started at cruiser and then, cut his teeth at heavy. Just dog. So he's probably my favorite heavyweight. I watching event and just, dude, the day and age of everybody on that good stuff, dude. Evander Holyfield. Yes, Bilal Fawaz. I'm riding Bilal till the wheels fall off. Bilal has been good to us. Bilal has been good to me. Watching Bilal's rise, one of the greatest stories in boxing right now. Once again, hopeless romantic. We have the greatest sport on earth due to stories like this. What other sport on earth where you could have a story like Bilal Fawaz at 37 years old, coming from the awful trauma-filled life that he had come from, all of the setbacks, living in a country for 15 years and them not even recognizing him as a citizen, not even having a passport, never allowing him to leave, because if he were to leave the UK, he wouldn't be allowed back in, not being allowed to take a $200,000 check in 2015 from Frank Warren because he didn't have a bank account, and still didn't give up on himself, still didn't quit on himself. Gets that fight against Junaid Boston, Starboy, big underdog. A lot of people thought Bilal won that first fight, was a draw. Gets the rematch, showed his levels, goes in as a plus 300 dog against Ishmael Davis, beats him, and he's potentially one fight away from fighting for a world title. Rumor is if he handles Ryan Kelly, they might do a UK football stadium fight between him and Joshua Kelly. So I'm riding Bilal Fawaz. Kieran Conway fight is off. Kieran Conway Jeffers fight is off due to injury. Is it me or it didn't freeze up? I'm gonna stay away from the fight, guys. It is Thursday, April 30th, 12:45 p.m. I got a box in about an hour and a half, so I got to get ready for some sparring. You guys are the best. We still have 80 people in here. As you're checking out, because you like this video, for all the JSB insiders, check the YouTube members section. I gave you guys more picks today, and all you Patreon boys, check your Patreon. I gave you more picks today. UFC pick and a dog parlay. I'm gonna give you at least 2 more boxing tickets and at least 1 more UFC ticket. I'm setting up behind the scenes an all UFC live stream tomorrow with Nick from Breaking Bad. Upload today in the fight production playlist was my breakdown, prediction, and analysis of Munguia versus Resendiz. Check that out. Watch Benavidez versus Zerto, and make sure you tune in to Inoue versus Nakatani. When you watch those, comment and let me know what you think, who you think is going to win. Stay tuned to tomorrow. We're getting there, boys. We're getting there.